Hi, I'm Lyndon Ashby, Teen Wolf, Mortal Kombat. You're listening to the Dave and Creech Show.
This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey everybody out there, welcome to the Dave and Creech Show. This is going to be another Dave-less edition of the Dave and Creech Show, and a very short edition. We're actually going to skip on the interview and everything. Just going to talk about some really things, and we're going to wrap this one up really quick. And I do apologize for the short length of this. However, it was supposed to be me and Dave this week, but it's just been chaos. And to go a little bit more into detail for everybody, it's been quite chaotic. Dave is getting ready at the beginning of next month, which is in a couple of days actually. In September, he leaves for LA, and he's going to be working on a movie. Now, due to NDAs, non-disclosure agreements for those not in the industry, he is unable to reveal what exactly it is that he is in. However, the only thing that we can reveal is that it is for a lead character, and it is for a sequel in a horror franchise. So, that could be anything. It's apparently a very successful horror franchise. He's going to be the lead in a sequel to it. Whatever it is, we're definitely excited. And when Dave gets on, he's definitely going to chat about it when he can. And we can find out stories from the set, maybe interview some of the cast. We will be bringing Dave back. Obviously, it's kind of sucked that we haven't been able to have the other half of this show on the podcast in the past two episodes. But it's just been this schedule crunch because, as you know, he's been talking about it since pretty much we started this podcast. About the house construction, and he's been working to the bone close to 20 hours a day. As a matter of fact, we've been texting back and forth, and he's been showing me some pictures. It looks great. Everything that he's working on. Maybe I'll put some up on either Facebook or Twitter. I'm not 100% sure right now. However, I do want to say, the work's paying off, obviously, but he is unable to join us just because his schedule is almost non-stop from the moment he wakes up to the moment he leaves. And then my schedule's been busy. As you know, I talked about it a little bit on the last time with the wrestling footage. I've been working hard on getting that there. We've got another wrestling event I got to record, I believe, in a month's time, maybe a little bit longer. Plus, we're supposed to be heading out to do some press at Walker StalkerCon / FanFest Orlando in mid-September. I'm actually getting ready to take a break because I've been, going pretty hard myself. I'm going to take a break and go on a vacation up to Mount Airy, North Carolina. And it's going to be me and my daughter, and that's going to be fun. But I will do a podcast that week as well. I do apologize that it has been kind of lax recently. There's been a podcast 2 weeks ago or something like that, and then there wasn't one for a week. I'm going to work on getting just one podcast a week. If Dave's not on it, then it might be a little bit shorter. However, I still will be using some of the interviews. I'm just not doing them this week. So Zach Galligan will be for sure next week, as will Tobin Bell's going to be the week after that. And there's some great interviews. I just need a little bit more time to work on the Zach Galligan one. That one's actually not conducted by me. That one's by former co-host of Creech Questions, Chastity Valentine. She did a phenomenal job. and so I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Now, I wish I had better news for you guys. I know first it's like, hey, welcome back, it's going to be a short episode, and I just, wind up telling you, Dave's busy, so he hasn't been able to been on here, so he can't entertain you, so it's just me. However, I've got more horrible news. Now, I don't, there's a lot of people that started listening to this podcast after Dave Sheridan joined. For those that don't know, a little bit about me is that I've mentioned it briefly a couple times, but I had a podcast that went for 48 episodes called Creech Questions. And it's kind of the same format as this, except I did shout-outs at the beginning. The wrap-up was still on there, and then I did the celebrity interviews. And Dave was actually a guest on there, and quite a few. Jordan Woods Robinson, Lincoln Castellanos. The guests that came on this show actually had been previous guests. I first met on that. But I had a great time. Unfortunately, that when that ended, near the end, actually, I guess I should say, there was an episode that, even though it stands out as my favorite, it's still pretty sad, and this is a follow-up to that episode. To those that listened to the episode of Creech Questions with James Frazier, it was a 2-part episode, and on that episode, for the Walking Dead wrap-up, I had on Jordan Woods Robinson as a special guest, along with Alyssa, myself, and we had another special guest, Vernon Newton. Now, if you listen to the podcast, Vernon Newton runs the Walking Dead fan base, which is a group on Facebook. It is the largest unofficial group for The Walking Dead. He has over 60,000 members. I just checked it the other day, and that's very impressive. Now, he lives over in England, and midway last year, he was diagnosed with bile duct and liver cancer, and that's hard enough to find out. A doctor telling you have 18 months to a year left to live. And, he has, a 4-year-old little girl named CJ, and, a girlfriend, Karen, who he was taking care of, too. And, it's rough to hear that. And, the bad part about this story is that, which is another reason why we didn't do one last week, we found out that he's taken a turn for the worst. On the previous episode, obviously I'd mentioned that he was a Walking Dead fan. Along with some help from Jordan Woods Robinson, we had gotten in touch with a couple of the actors to call in to the wrap-up and surprise him with well wishes. And it seemed to liven him up. However, as of this past week, he went to the doctor, and they told him he has weeks, at most, to live. And that's rough. I can't even begin to fathom what was going on in his mind when they told him that. But in this week since, he's taken a turn for the worst. I don't even know what to say. Me and Dave, when I found out last week, we reached out to Michael Cudlitz, who's a former guest on the show, and we were going to surprise him with a call, just to some final well wishes. Vernon, the thing that makes me upset the most, well, not the most, but one of the things that was highly upsetting is he actually went to Walker Stalker Con London. He worked hard last year, even after the cancer thing, to save up some money to go. And he had bought photo ops for Greg Nicotero, Sneakwa Martin Green, a couple others, former podcast guests. And somebody stole them. reasons he was unable to meet some of the people, including Michael Cudlitz, who he really wanted to meet. So me and Dave both have been tried really hard this week in between our schedules to get that set up, but we did get it set up. Michael was willing to do it. I mean, Michael's a phenomenal guy, a stand-up guy. Unfortunately, when we got it and we just needed a time to set it up, that's when I found out that Vernon's prognosis, and he just wasn't doing any better. He was doing worse. At this point, he's barely awake, and he's almost unable to talk. And so unfortunately we weren't able to do a phone call because of his current condition. And it's hard. It's, Vernon, and I might be going a little bit in too deep, and really, I guess, revealing more about me as a person than I usually do on this show, especially since it's just me today. Now, a long time ago, before I even thought of podcasting, I just wanted to do interviews. I wanted to do something fun that I enjoyed, and I wanted to base it around something I love. Now, when I was just nothing but a fan, I had joined Vernon's Facebook group, the Walking Dead fan group, and he invited me on to be an admin on his page. And around this time was when I was starting to do interviews and get out there and do travel and meet these actors and get to know them. So I've probably been the worst. I say it quite a few times. I've probably been one of the worst admins they've ever had, since I was very rarely on there actually doing admin stuff just because of all my other stuff. But from day one, even before I started the podcast, Vernon has been behind me every step of the way. He has helped promote everything that we've done, whether it's just Creech Questions, whether it's Dave and Creech, whether it was some stupid little video that I did. He would be one of the first to share it out the world. He'd share it on his Twitter, on his Facebook page, in the group to 60,000 people, and that helped me grow and get more listeners, because they see, wow, this guy is interviewing people from a show we love. And he's always been one of my biggest supporters, and I don't feel that there is ever anything I can do to thank him enough. And it's tearing me up to know that at this point he will probably never hear this, but Vernon, man, I love you, and I'm really sorry that you have to have gone through this, and I'm praying for you, and I'm sorry that your family has to go through this. I mean, I lost my mother when I was 17 to cancer, so I in some ways know what it's like to lose a parent, but I can't imagine what his little daughter CJ is going to go through at 4 years old and not having Vernon there. It tears me up. And I just want to know that to thank him, obviously, first of all, and know that I appreciate everything that he has done for me, for my company, for my podcast. I mean, I like I said, I don't see how I'm ever going to be able to repay his generosity. And all I can hope is that some last-minute miracle happens, and that he's able to continue. But if not, I know that at least he won't be in pain no more, and that I was honored to get to know one of the greatest people I've ever met. And that's bar none. He was one of the kindest souls you could ever meet. And it's rough. And I know that once again, this is supposed to be an upbeat podcast, guys, and I really do apologize. But I have to be real about it. I mean, that's been one of the reasons why I haven't done a standalone podcast. Because, I mean, me and Dave have tried to get something together for this past week, but he's been, not free till 1 or 2 in the mornings, and by that time I'm exhausted from doing my stuff throughout the day that I just, I go to sleep. And we'll work on that, obviously, but, I mean, I've had a couple of days this week where I could have done that, but when I thought about podcasting, I quite didn't know what to say. And to be honest, I still don't know what to say. I'm just speaking from my heart at this point. And it's rough because this whole thing it's an entertainment podcast. So yeah, you want to tune in and you want to listen to us review movies or talk about movie news, TV shows, review TV shows, talk about, make fun of Trump, talk politics with Dave, and all of that jazz. And I want to do that, and I want to make it happy-go-lucky, but it's just, it hasn't been the greatest week. So it's gonna be, I'm expecting the news at this point to not get any better for Vernon, unfortunately. And even though I'm hoping it's not the case, this may be the last one. So I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say that by the next episode that Vernon may no longer be with us, because I don't want that to be true. I want him to be here, and just flat out, cancer sucks, and I hate it. But with that being said, I don't want to make it this short. I do apologize, but at this point, we're about 18 minutes in, and that's a really, really short podcast. But, I mean, to be honest, I've got news topics right here, but I really can't bring myself to do these this week, and for that, I apologize to you guys, because I know you've waited 2 weeks, and you're like, all right, we're finally going to get new stuff, and then it's basically saying, hey, we're so busy, we can't podcast, and then it's dropping this highly emotional subject on you that you weren't expecting. I know there's people that message me telling me how they have a rough day and they listen to us and we make them feel better, and I guarantee you this podcast is not going to make anybody feel better, because it's just brutal reality, and it's rough. I mean, Dave's got to work on his stuff, I've had to work on mine, and even though we're going to get back together and probably in the week, and we're probably just gonna, to be honest, right now, just with how busy schedules are, we're probably going to be a little behind in the news, and we're probably going to film multiple episodes back to back. So at that point, you don't have to worry about it being, I guess I wouldn't say late, but having weeks without Dave. It's just going to be, we're probably going to have like a marathon podcasting sessions where we record like 2 or 3 episodes, and then we release them over that 3-week span. So then you still get Dave and myself, and then you also still get to hear us talk about stuff. But guys, that's pretty much all I'm going to have for you today, and I do apologize for the short length and the really deep subject matter. But I promise you, next week we will be back to some, I guess you could say, interesting and entertaining conversations. The Walking Dead wrap-up will return next week, and I'm pretty excited for that. For those that may not remember, because it has been a long time since we've done it, that's me and Alyssa Mullen, who's been a multi-time walker on The Walking Dead. We're going to review... Normally we review episodes of The Walking Dead, and sometimes we did Fear. I'm way behind in Fear, so what we're going to wind up doing is we're going to review and share our thoughts on the Season 7 trailer of The Walking Dead. So, and also the Season 6 scene, uncensored Negan scene. So it's going to be it's going to be fun to rejoin that old gang. And, guys, once again, I do apologize for this length, and I tell you what I'm going to do. I talked about it earlier, and in honor of Vernon, we're going to replay his Walking Dead wrap-up from Creech Questions it was quite a while ago. It was, I believe, November of last year. And you'll get to hear all the Walking Dead actors call in, and you're going to get to hear Vernon give his thoughts on, I believe it was episode 6 or 7 of The Walking Dead last year. And guys, that's going to be it. So here's the wrap up, and we will see you next week on the Dave and Creech Show.
This is all connected. You show up, and now 3 of us are gone.
Why'd you bring us here?
Hey everybody, welcome to a special episode of the Walking Dead wrap-up segment on our podcast, Creech Questions. I am one of your hosts, CJ Creech, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, multi-time Walker actress, Alyssa Mullen. Now, we have 2 special guests on this segment tonight, and our first guest is Eric from The Walking Dead himself, Mr. Jordan Woods Robinson. Now,
Hey!
now Jordan is appears...
Talk yet?
Oh, no, you could, yeah. I left that space for you. Now, Jordan is appearing courtesy of SOS Studios, and what SOS Studios is a global community for songwriters to help get your music distributed, and it also allows you to network with other musicians and record new albums through professional collaborations. They recently just opened up a new membership on their site that assists with the creation of full albums at the fraction of the cost it would take to actually do it inside of a studio. Now, the first month is absolutely free, and after that, it's only $5 a month. You can sign up now, or preferably after the podcast, at sosstudio.co. And welcome again, Jordan.
Thanks, dude, and thank you for that very well thought out introduction. I need to listen back to this and write down everything you said so that I can say it like that next time.
Oh, well, thank you. I try. Now, our second guest for the night comes from across the pond, from the UK to be exact. His name is Vernon Newton, and he is the owner of the Walking Dead fan base, which is the largest unofficial The Walking Dead fan group on Facebook, with over 60,000 plus members. Now, I did ask if it was okay to share this with you and everybody, but on a more serious note, now Vernon was informed that he has bile duct and liver cancer, and he was told by doctors that he has 18 months to 2 years left. Now, undeterred by that diagnosis, Vernon has been doing some amazing work with charities to help find a cure for cancer, like the Walking Hope here in America, and the Valindra Cancer Center in the UK. And he has also donated all of his long flowing hair to be made into wigs for young children going through cancer. He's an awesome father for a little girl named CJ, and a great person in general, and I have no doubt in my mind that not only will he beat this cancer and be here for many, many more years to come, But he helped me out in the beginning a lot as well. And so I definitely wanted to bring you on the show, Vernon, as just a small little thanks for giving me my first break over 2 years ago when no one knew who I was. So, welcome, and thank you, Vernon.
And thank you for instruction. I feel a bit overwhelmed by that now.
All right.
Like I say, it's been a fun few months, but with all the support I'm getting, I'll get through it. Thanks for having me on the show, though.
You're welcome, and you will go through it. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that has words of encouragement for you. So, Alyssa or Jordan, if you want to share.
Yeah, dude. Vernon, pleasure to make your virtual acquaintance, and thank you for all of your dedication and encouragement through the fandom over these many years, and I hope to actually shake your hand here very soon.
Well, I'm heading over to the Walker Stalker in London next year, so if you're there, I hope to see you. I can't remember. Were you on the list? I can't remember now.
Wonderful. I'm not on the list as of now. I'm not.
I hope I can stick around long enough to get to meet at some point in the future.
Absolutely.
You will.
Make it happen.
Yes. And Alyssa, are you still there?
Yes. I'm just listening to everybody's well wishes, patiently waiting.
Would you like to?
Yeah, I think you'll definitely be just fine. You are very strong, and with all of us behind you, I know you'll get through it, and you'll be just fine. We love you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I don't want to sound bad, but I admit I do actually have more support through the group and through people I've met because of The Walking Dead than I actually do at home, to be honest.
All right. Well, we're always here for you, and might have
Dude,
some.
The fandom is fantastic. I mean, it's incredible seeing everybody supporting each other and everybody sticking up for each other and just being there for each other's backs. You know, it really is a family. So, yeah, man. You, if you need a shoulder to lean on, someone will be there for you.
Yes, the hashtag TWD family is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in a little bit we should have some more well-wishers coming to call in.
I'm also making cookies, so if you hear too much clattering in the background, just let me know.
Are they
That's awesome.
Are they Carol's cookies by chance?
They're even better.
Even better. Okay.
Oh, I bet.
We're going to go ahead and start with the review right now. So, obviously, the big thing from last night is Glenn was revealed to not be dead. What is everybody's thoughts on that?
What?
Jordan was a little bit surprised.
Is it bad to admit that I haven't watched the episode yet? I'm kidding.
I think I was right from the start, he wasn't, but I had a feeling, because of the whole thing of when you heard the whole "hey dumbass" bit, flashback, very first episode when Rick slid under the tank.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel
Daniel. That's me, what I thought.
I feel like we have a new caller.
Yeah, it's Daniel Bonjour over here.
Hey, Daniel, how is it going?
Good.
Oh, hi.
Jordan mentioned to call in here.
Yes, we have Vernon here if you'd like to send him some well wishes.
Yeah, absolutely. Vernon, you have all my wishes and my family, and, just whatever love I can send your way. I hope it does anything for you.
Corey Brill.
Here's Corey Brill. Pete.
Hey.
All right. And so we were just talking with Daniel as well. And Vernon is here if you would like to give him your well wishes as well.
Hey, Vernon. Wanted to say to you, keep at it. Keep walking like Andy says to me there. Keep at it, man.
I'm going to do everything I can to. I know I'm going to feel really overwhelmed by the end of this, but yeah, thanks a lot.
We've got Alexandria representing right now.
Yes.
Hey, it's Michael Trenor.
We have Michael Trenor here, too. All right, so Vernon is on here whenever you want to let him know your well wishes.
Hi, guys. Hi, Vernon. Hey, buddy. This is awesome. It's such a rare treat to speak to you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good.
Good.
Who all's here?
I think we all just jumped on the exact same time, basically. Damn, Mike, what's up, man?
Hey. Corey's here.
Yes.
Cool.
We are having
And Jordan and CJ.
Yes, an audio Alexandria reunion.
That's awesome. Are you guys wearing your Alexandrian only underwear too?
Yes.
Every day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alexandrians.
Go ahead. Nicotero specifically told me that Alexandrians didn't wear underwear. Was that did that only come my way?
Oh, you guys got the...
That was the prank that was supposed to wear off like months ago, but I guess...
Oh, it wore off. It wore off. It chafed. It wore everything.
Wow. That's a visual you can't escape, huh?
Yeah. Michael, we're all taking turns. Vernon has been diagnosed with cancer and has been diagnosed with 18 to 2 years, but we're all telling him that he's going to kick this thing's butt and that we're gonna see him around and shake his hand much sooner.
Fuck yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
All right, I can cuss on this one, right?
Yes, Michael. I don't know if you remember our last one, but yes, you can definitely cuss.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. Some people don't let you cuss on their podcast.
Oh, what's that supposed to mean?
Yes, well, our censor button is broken, so you're all good.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. I'll tell you what I always tell people on opening night for any show I'm doing, which is fuck them in the heart.
Yeah. How's your dating life going, Corey?
I'm sorry?
How's your dating life going again?
I'm still having trouble hearing what you said there.
Oh, I was trying to make a bad dating joke with that kind of a phrase.
Oh, yeah, right. It opened doors. Believe me.
So,
all right.
Yes, thank you guys for coming on and giving some well wishes to Vernon. We really do appreciate it.
And, I think Jordan just reached out, and we all kind of respect what Jordan wants, and Vernon, best wishes from me, all the love in the world, and as much positive stuff I can send your way, man.
Like I said, I really am really feeling overwhelmed by this. I mean, it's just the support I'm getting from you guys and guys in my group and everything is unbelievable. It does mean a hell of a lot. It really does. Big thanks to you guys.
Sweet, dude. Our thoughts are with you,
man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Love you guys. I'll see you.
Sign off, but love you guys all, and I'm sure we'll see each other soon.
Yes.
I'm not leaving. Vernon and I are staying.
Very much love, guys. I'm staying on too, but we got to do work. We got work to do, guys.
Yeah, all right.
I love you guys.
Enjoy you guys,
Hey.
the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take care.
Much love, Vernon. Much love, man.
Here's
You guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right, those 3 beeps mean that everybody is gone. It's just us again. I don't
think we're alone now.
Yeah. Again, Vernon, that was Aiden from The Walking Dead and Pete and Nicholas. But yeah, all right. So once again, we are now back into the review portion. And Glenn is still not dead. Shockers. So what did everybody think about that reveal?
I think it worked how I thought it was. I knew that he wasn't dead. There was too many little times you could tell that he wasn't dead. All the different angles, people looking at the picture. And like as I was saying before the trainings, I had that flashback of season 1 when Rick stood under the tank. Well, he's going to somehow fight under something, somehow stay there until everything's clear. But I did have an alternative story twist in my mind of what was going to happen to get away from that, but it was good how they worked it out, though. I had a feeling he wasn't dead, though.
All right, and Alyssa, what were your thoughts?
Well, I was obviously relieved. I mean, I was so worried, and the whole entire time, obviously. So I was just kind of interested to see how he would get out of it. It wasn't more of a question of if he would. I believe in Glenn, so I knew he would. But I thought he'd try and make a break for it, but he stayed under the dumpster. So good for him.
Now, Jordan, I know you obviously as the actor on the show, you get scripts. Do they give you scripts for the episodes that you're not in?
So I didn't have the script because you're right, I wasn't in it. I knew what was going to happen. I knew the intel, but I hadn't read it on the page. But what was interesting to me was going through, everybody presenting their different theories as to why it wasn't going to happen. Some people just felt it intrinsically that he was, that everything was okay, and then some people felt like, no, it happened, but the two sides that I thought were great is that, lots of people were saying, no, he can't be dead because it happened, because they didn't give him any farewell. They didn't send him off. They didn't, there was no big epic scene. But that's kind of the nature of where the world is going now in the show. People used to have time to bury their dead, and that can't happen anymore. Now you see your brother get killed, and then you just have to keep moving, or else you're going to get killed too. And I think I would not have been surprised at all if that had just been the end of that story, because that's what people are actually going through now. It happens, and you mourn and you move, and that's how we have to deal. So I had arguments for both sides of it before the reveal was made.
Definitely. And now we'll go on to the next segment with the bleeding wall. Do you think that was kind of just like a red herring? Or was... I've been trying to figure that out myself. Because obviously it didn't really amount to anything, because what took down the wall was the tower. I've just been trying to figure out what the meaning behind that bleeding wall was.
I was trying to think what was behind the wall. I don't think it actually shows you what was on the other side, did they? Something obviously pushing against it. It looked like there was like a hole in the fence. Something's been pushing against it, and the blood's like seeping through. But obviously, I was thinking when Rick was looking at it, he was touching, thinking, are they going to just pan around and show you like a big horde of walkers, something on the other side pushing against it? One's being squashed there or something, but they didn't show nothing.
Very true.
You know what I thought? I thought of it as like Alexandria is like its own life. This is what they want the future to be. And so they believe in this place, and I kind of feel like that was like almost like this place is wounded, and it's slowly dying. And then, I don't know, it sounds all cheesy, but, that's what I think. Like, it's dying. This place is going down. Like, too much stuff is happening. And then you see the tower come down, so there you go.
I think that's a great metaphor, and I think that's kind of what I saw, too, the first time that we saw the bleeding wall. I thought, that's a weird choice, to focus on that. But, yeah, it made me think exactly what Vernon said of, like, there's just so many walkers behind there that now they are pushing on each other, and this is, like, it's about to buckle, But then the second, I think we saw it, like, 3 times total. And the second and third times that I saw it, I couldn't help but think of the statues of the Virgin Mary that allegedly cry tears or bleed, or all of these other things that are going on. It's like it was this very, like ominous, just creepy feeling that's like something that is way above us is about to happen, and I don't know if there's a way to be prepared for it or not. Plus, I could definitely see it as, I can't list any specific movies off the top of my head, but I think that kind of visual is something that is probably very common in a lot of older movies, and I could see the the creative team being who they are. I could see this being a very specific nod to an older movie, maybe an Alfred Hitchcock movie somewhere down the line, where
Yeah, very true. I mean, the Walking Dead has never shied away from eerie, but yet prophetic, I guess you could say, images.
Yeah.
All right, and now the next question, an event that I want to pose to everybody. This one I'm going to ask really not as script-wise for you, Jordan, because I don't want this to be, to lead into spoiler territory. But as a person, just answer it like as a person, not associated with anything. Now, do you think, is Morgan doing the right thing by letting the wolf live and bringing Denise into the wolf's den, so to speak?
You know what's really interesting for me is that, so I've been watching a lot of the shows live, which has been a great treat for me, and being able to talk to a lot of the audience who's watching it live as well. And I find myself intrinsically on Morgan's side. Every time he makes a decision, I think, yes, that's the way it has to be. And that's what we should all be striving for. But then I'll send out a question to all of my, anyone else that's watching the show, and everyone's like, no, Morgan's so wrong. He's going to bring everybody down. It's Team Carol all the way, baby. And that made me realize that, maybe they are just polar opposites. But I just as a person, as a human being, as a, make love not war kind of person, I am definitely on Morgan's side, but I can see where the faults are in this new world. And, as the actor playing Eric, I think part of, I think Eric would agree with Morgan as well. I think a lot of that, the give it a chance and everything has a repercussion and trying to think a couple steps ahead. I think Eric and Morgan share a lot of those same qualities, and so I don't know if it's necessarily dangerous. It's obviously stirring the pot. It's obviously he knows that he's doing something that's against the rest of the group, and so he's trying to cover his tracks while he's doing it. And we'll just have to wait and see if it's gonna teach him a lesson or if it's gonna teach the others a lesson, depending on what happens.
Exactly. What are your thoughts, Alyssa?
Oh, geez. I'm one of those people that's all like, this is what you said. No, he's so wrong. But really, I like how he kind of, last night during his trip to the principal's office, like Chris Hardwick said, he kind of I like how he kind of surrendered to the feeling of not knowing. Like, you don't know what the right decision is, and it kind of went back to when Rick said in a previous episode, we don't bury killers inside the walls. And he said, I'm a killer, you're a killer. And it's like, really, you don't know where to draw the line. And I like how he's the first character to kind of give up, and not give up, so to speak, but kind of surrender to it and say, I don't know what the right choice is. Because everybody's fighting so much that they don't really have time to think anymore. And I think he's really battling himself.
All right. And Vernon, what were your thoughts?
I think Morgan at the moment, after his little period of change of thought of how he was back in the previous season, he's trying to see the good in every single person, no matter who they are, especially the wolf. I think he's keeping the guy hidden down there, trying to make sure he's safe, so he can get into the information of what, maybe like finding out where the rest of the group are to, how much they've got. Maybe I could be thinking about it wrong, whether they've got many force in the case there's another attack. But I think he's showing too much trust. He's trying to think there's too much good in the guy, or trying to find, I can put it. He's trying to see too much potential good in the guy, but obviously, as we've seen with the way the wolves are, they're too trained, they're too mentally adapt the way they're trying to live pure survival, tear anything apart to get what they need, doesn't matter about anything else. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I think that it is going to come to a head with him and Rick over that. I think that's going to be a big one, especially if Carol's now watching. Obviously, she has to sneak around and see things happening, so she'll be the first to know, and I reckon she'll be the first to confront Morgan about it.
Very true. Now, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I mean, I'm kind of indifferent on both. I mean, I can see Morgan's way, and then I could see what Carol's thinking too. The only thing I just can't figure out is why he would risk bringing Denise into the to try to help the wolf. I mean, obviously the wolf needs medical attention or he'd die, but if he goes crazy and winds up killing Denise, then there goes their second string doctor. So I don't know. I question that choice.
Right. Yeah, I think, going off what Vernon says, it's very true that at least Morgan, maybe one of Morgan's biggest strengths right now is that he, unlike some of the other people that have lived in this world or have seen different things in this world, Morgan still possesses the ability to stand back and look at both sides. He can admit when he's been wrong, and he can still, even if he tends to go one way or the other, he can still step back and analyze it from both sides. And I think that, I'm hoping that if he chose to bring someone else in on his story, he's already stepped back and weighed all of the options and has thought 2 and 3 steps down the line in order to prepare himself. But, who knows? We'll see.
We will see. And
but I always found myself asking, though, why didn't he pick someone easier, like Rick, for instance, to try and teach this message to? Why did he choose the one guy that was in the community slaughtering people right in front of your face? He's like, I want to take that one and try and rehabilitate him. Why not try someone in Rick's group that isn't going to just kill you right then and there if he had the chance?
I think the reason he chose the wolf is because, and I think it was episode 4, the flashback episode. I mean, Morgan was practically like the wolves back then, just killing people for no reason. And so, through the help of Eastman, he wound up coming back to a sense of normalcy, and I feel like he feels like he can do that with this wolf character.
Yeah, and I think no one else in Alexandria is trying to kill Morgan. I don't think Morgan went out trying to be a teacher and trying to find someone and say, I'm going to better the life of this person. I think he's responding to being attacked, and rather than killing the person and taking them down, he's trying to nurture them back to humanity,
Exactly. Now for the next topic, it was about, I think, halfway through the episode. It was when Rosita was training all of the Alexandrians to, I guess you could say, take out walkers, I'm assuming, with the machete. Do you think it was right for Rosita to call out Eugene for his, I guess we could say, lack of participation?
What do you guys think?
Ladies first again. Ladies first.
That's you first.
I don't know. I think she just cares. She cares about him, she may not show it outwardly at this moment, but she clearly cares about him because she wants him to survive. And she's saying, get over this. This is what it is now. You have to be strong. You have to, snap out of it, basically. So I think it came from a place of love for this person. So I don't think she was being too hard on him. I think it's what he needed to hear.
Yeah, I think rather similar to what Alyssa was just saying, I think in a way she was singling him out, trying to get him to understand that I need you to stand up. I know you can do it. You have done it. You've helped Tyra out in the past. You have done things that you wouldn't normally do. You can do this, so you need to start doing this. You cannot rely on everybody else. Think of all the people that have died trying to save you when you were trying to get you to Washington. We've basically given you a free pass on that now. Now you have to prove to us that you can actually defend yourself. And I'm challenging you, it's like she's challenging him to right, I can do this, I can defend myself, I can make myself, prove myself that I am worthy of the group, I can defend myself. That's the way I see it anyway.
Yeah, and I wasn't on set, and I haven't talked to Christian about it, but I picked up on another layer of this, and I don't know if it's what she was intending or not, but the whole time she was saying, you do it for those that you couldn't help, for those that you think, for those that you didn't try hard enough and they died or whatever. And I kept getting the sense that she was talking about Abraham, that, she's had this relationship with Abraham, and now he's gone and he hasn't returned, and he's presumed dead for everyone in Alexandria, who knows. And this is her saying you have to fight for people before you lose them,
There.
Ross.
Hey, Ross. This is CJ with Creech Questions. We're doing the Walking Dead wrap-up. We do have Vernon on.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good, man. We do have Vernon on here. They give you a little bit about his story. He was diagnosed with cancer. He was given 18 months to 2 years to live. However, he is going to beat it, and we know he will. But we want you to, if you'd like, to share some words of encouragement for him.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I can't even imagine what you're going through right now, but I will say that a lot of my family have battled cancer as well, and have come back from it, and there's so many new treatments now, and obviously I don't know all the particulars, but I'm confident that if you keep a positive attitude, I mean that they keep saying that's the biggest thing about it, just keeping a positive attitude, and also just changing your diet and doing little things like that. And I hope I'm really praying that everything works out for you.
Yeah, thank you. That does mean a lot. And as I keep saying, I'm going to be overwhelmed by this when I finish. It's just podcast. But thank you. That means a lot. It really does.
Thank you again, Ross, for calling.
Of course.
Sweet dude.
And, yeah.
Oh.
Hey, Ross. Jordan here, too, man.
Hey, Jordan, how you doing?
Good, man.
So yes, we've had a lot of the Alexandrians do some well wishes.
Oh, good. Yeah, I've been trying to call for the last 10, 15 minutes, but I'm driving through Georgia right now, and the signal is extremely spotty right now, but finally got through.
All right, well, we're glad you were able to call in. We really do appreciate it.
Of course. All my best to you, okay?
Thank you.
Oh,
Take care.
No.
Bye.
Jordan, how many of the scripts from the first 7 did you actually get? And then after that, I know you said even though, like, for instance, with this one, even though you weren't in it, you knew that Glenn what was going to survive. How long does it take for you to find out what's happening, and what has been your reaction so far from Season 6, Episode 1 to Season 6, Episode 7 on just how the plot has progressed?
Oh my gosh. I used to think that Season 5 was my favorite, but just already, by like 6:03, I was like, Season 6 just blows everything else out of the water. It's incredible. And yeah, so I don't get all scripts. But one thing that it has been going on this season, which I think is really incredible, is that they're filming so much. I've had lots of people asking me, "Where's Eric? You're just in the background." And it's true, like I'm just in the background. I've been filming more things so far, but in each episode we film so much more than we need to tell the story, and so there are lots of scenes. If you go back and look at the original script, and then look at what makes it to the final edit, there's actually a lot that's left on the cutting room floor, which I think is, at first you can be like, oh man, my scene's gone, but I think it's just amazing that, the show has always made a point of telling the story that it needs to tell, and I think that they're still doing that. They're still getting all of this information that they can choose from in order to tell the best story possible. And I think that's just a huge testament to the creative team that they're doing that. And as far as the story goes, I think it's just massive, and I think it's incredible, and I know that it's going to get even more massive and even more incredible. So I'm really excited for everyone to see it. This season is incredible. I know I've said that word like 5 times in the past 30 seconds, but it's true. It's just so good. And I really enjoy seeing it coming from the page and then just going onto the screen and being able to sit here and watch it all unfold, and in a way that I couldn't have imagined it. And in many ways, that I've already forgotten about it, so I still get to see it new as it happens. But I think everything's playing out really well, and I'm enjoying the character development versus action. I think they found a really good balance with that, and I'm loving it. I loved that whole episode where it's just Morgan, just 90 minutes of Morgan. I thought that was so fascinating watching all of that unfold. I know a lot of people were frustrated because there wasn't much action, but man, I thought it was just incredible.
What has been your favorite moment out of those 3 episodes that you've filmed this season so far?
That you've seen or that I filmed?
That you filmed.
Okay. There's one scene that happened in 605, which I'm not going to talk about because maybe it'll be in the
DVD.
DVDs. I'm hoping it'll be in the the extended version. That was just mind-rocking for the whole show. Like, I don't think we've seen a scene like this in the show. I couldn't think of one, and I don't think many other people could think of one either. And it wasn't a love scene or anything. We've seen love scenes, but it was just really cool. And I was so excited for the world to see it because I thought that it was going to really just make everybody sit on the edge of their seat. But it didn't make it through. That was my favorite scene. I wish I could tell you more about it. And if anyone ever wants to ask me in person, maybe I can. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. Probably not. But it was so much fun to shoot, and hopefully it'll be in the extended DVD cut because that was certainly just a blast to film and to be a part of. And but then what you've seen so far, really the biggest thing that we've seen of Eric was him donating blood to Holly when she was in the infirmary, and a lot of people spoke up and said that we don't often see that of homosexual men giving blood, of the media portraying that, of that being on a major scale. We don't usually see that. And so again, that just goes to the show of being like, yeah, we're going to tell the story we need to tell. And this is a young, fit, healthy male, and he's going to give blood because he's going to save a life, regardless of what, the public sees as his, quote unquote sexual orientation or labeling him or whatever else. He is a young, fit, strong, able-bodied person who wants to help someone else, and so he's going to give blood. So that was a great scene to be a part of as well.
Now, before we go, I want to go around in a round table to everybody list so far. I mean, other than Jordan. I mean, unless he really wants to. Your favorite memory of Eric so far?
Go.
My favorite memory of Eric?
Yeah, your favorite scene that he's been involved in.
I like when we first met him. That sweet moment between him and Aaron. That's why I'm hoping that they really show that relationship more, because they were a favorite pair of mine, and they are a favorite pair of mine in the comics. So I really would love to see more of them together. And I hope we will. Fingers crossed.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Vernon, what was your favorite scene?
I think for me was the famous meal scene with Aaron, Eric, and Daryl. I don't think Daryl quite actually understood the fact of the relationship between. I think it seemed at first he just like they were just friends, and it wasn't until eating that meal it sort of like sunk in. No, they're not friends. They're a little bit more than friends. It's just like look on Daryl's face when they're eating the meal there. It's like it's one of those few moments within the show that you have a little bit of humour there to sort of lighten the atmosphere. Because at times the show can seem quite heavy and everything because the story is quite intense. That's one of the lighter moments. But it did feel it was a good moment. But just look on Daryl's face so when he just like they're sitting there eating, he's like you look on his face and you can see that it's the cogs in his head are working. He's like thinking, like, it's not quite what I was thinking, but he was physical, which was good.
So that was a fun scene to shoot with Norman too, because he actually showed up hungry that day, and he ended up eating like 5 plates of spaghetti before we were done filming. He just kept shoveling it down, and he wouldn't stop. So it was fun watching him squirm under the weight of this giant spaghetti monster that was put upon him.
I don't remember the words from the actual scene, but I do remember seeing a meme on that scene, and they're sitting down, and Daryl saying, the meme saying, Daryl saying, "Where are the meatballs?" And I think it was Eric's character saying on the meme, "Meatballs come later."
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God.
That was confused looking into it.
Those words were not uttered, but the internet has a wild imagination, doesn't it?
Yes, they do.
Oh, that's funny.
Sorry if I just lowered the tone.
Yeah, now I could go for the cop-out and just be like, well, every scene. But I do have a couple of favorite scenes. I mean, obviously the one that he mentioned earlier was, I found it a great thing that he was helping to give blood with Holly this season, or give blood for Holly. But looking back on it now, it really makes me laugh. Now that I've gotten to know you a lot more, we've talked in and out of the podcast. I'd like to consider you a friend, I guess.
Yeah, certainly.
And the very first scenes that we see you in, where like they build you up to make you think like basically Eric is I guess you could say a bad guy, because it's all almost in silhouette, or it's always from the back, and you just see the binoculars. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just my favorite scene, because it's like, it's played up to be everybody's thinking, oh God, this is going to be the next bad guy, the next whoever. They're gonna kill Rick and the group, but it wasn't at all, and it was Eric. And then unfortunately you got a tire rolled over onto your leg, which is never good.
Right.
But you did survive, and I feel like that leading into the reveal that you and Aaron were both good characters, and your first moment together was probably my favorite moment.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. Thanks so much. Yeah, that scene was, I think I've told you this before, but that scene was just super awesome to shoot, because Ross and I never actually rehearsed it until we got on set, and we only got to know each other like maybe like 24 hours or like 16 hours or something, of knowing each other before we had to go into the scene. And we never ran lines. We just talked. We talked about families. We learned that we have all these things in common, and we just got to be friends. And then we showed up on set, and we said the lines, that were written down for us. And that's how that scene came to be. And so it's always it's a nice little placeholder for me to know too that that's what made Ross and I good friends, and we're still good friends. And so I definitely, that scene holds a place in my heart for sure.
All right, well, I was hoping that at the end of your time on the show today that we would have an almost JSS moment, since you mentioned you were making cookies, and maybe at the end we'd hear the ding that the cookies were done. However,
I've been trying to be so quiet. They still have 10 minutes left.
Oh, well, looks like we missed out on it. I could always add in some sounds or anything. But I did just want to thank you again for joining us for the...
Okay.
There we go. That's perfect. I just want to thank you again for joining us today for this. It's always a pleasure to have you on here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. I enjoyed the conversation.
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you for listening to The Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creech Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.